So I just know that, with the inflation and the food prices and I don't know how families are doing it these days. So my name is Gennutt. I'm the Executive Director of Regina Food for Learning. So what we do is we feed at-risk youth, hungry at-risk youth in at-risk neighborhoods. Our mandate is to bring awareness of child hunger in the city, to make sure that children that come to school hungry, are fed, and give them a good outlook for the day, and also to raise money to be able to do that. The way it works is there's different programs, so it just depends on the school's needs. So the school, like a teacher may notice, it's maybe a specialized classroom and these kids are getting bused from another school. They're arriving at school hungry, they didn't have breakfast, they don't have any lunch with them. Chances are they didn't have supper last night. You can't expect a child to sit and concentrate in the classroom when they're hungry. So they'll apply to us for assistance. And they'll say, well, we need breakfast or snacks or whatever. So we do our best to try to supply that food to the school so that they can feed the children. There are some schools where it's a universal program and it's every child in the school gets a snack every day. So it just depends on what the needs of the school are. The way we do that, we have 3 paid part-time staff that perform all these miracles. So right now we're feeding about 955 students in 14 different schools. I have a food service coordinator, and she develops all the menus and orders all the food, and she has an assistant and he helps her prepare it all and they box it up. And then on Fridays the schools come in and pick up the food and they take it back to the school. So the really great thing about that also is a lot of the teachers can take that food and then they can use it as a learning tool. So they can teach nutrition to the students, and a lot of those kids, they don't know anything other than maybe opening a bag or a can, and they can work with them and teach them how to make some meals from scratch and how to eat properly and teach them some good nutrition. So it just becomes a conduit for connection for the schools, because when you feed a hungry child that says, I care about you, and gains their trust, and then you can work with them, and it also is a teaching tool for the teachers to teach the kids. So my inspiration was, I worked for Regina Public Schools for 22 years, so I had a long service with them, and all of the programs that I worked in were at-risk youth, and we got the food from Food for Learning. So I really had a very, very long association with Regina Food for Learning, and I retired from the school board and this opportunity came up, and I love those kids, and I just want better for them, and I saw myself what a difference that food makes. And when a child comes in hungry and you feed them and they go from being very angry or hangry or whatever you want to call it, and you feed them and they're skipping down the hall and happy and they're sitting and concentrating, and you can work with them. I've seen it myself. So I'm just passionate about it. I really want to do better for the kids in the schools. So the food insecurity has grown. Our programs are growing. In the last 10 years, we've probably doubled in the amount of food that we're providing. So I just know that, with the inflation and the food prices and I don't know how families are doing it these days, our numbers are going up, our requests are being increased all the time. The schools are asking for more, we're getting new applications. So I know that the food insecurity is there and that there's hungry kids out there. I can speak to that. I don't know what's going on with the families exactly, but I just know the kids are hungry and they need to be fed. I think COVID and all the stuff that went along with that was huge. And we found great difficulties right after COVID when everything went back and the schools came back and we started to order our food, and we found that lettuce was $83 a case. And and you'd go to the store and the bread aisle would be empty and you couldn't get cereal to save your life. So that was a real challenge for us at that time. It's gotten better. We still do find there are some shortages in some areas, and I don't know what the cause of that is and what the cause of the inflation is exactly, other than I know the transportation costs have gone up and the cost of gas has gone up and all that stuff. So I think the landscape has changed in that there's just more hungry people out there. And we're finding a lot of the new Canadian children are in need of assistance as well. So I think there needs to be a little bit more help for the families that are in need, absolutely. Well, you can donate food. There's all kinds of places you can donate food, including us. We do have a wish list on our website. Just donating dollars, even just helping to spread awareness and just get the word out there. I don't think people are aware of how serious the child poverty and child hunger system is in our city. I know when I do presentations to groups, they're just stunned. When I talk about some of the numbers and the amount of kids that we're feeding, they're stunned that the problem is as big as it is. Well, short term, if I had unlimited resources, I had all the money and all the resources and all the space, feed all the hungry kids in the city, make sure that there's no child goes hungry. I mean, I would love to see healthy, nourished children thriving in school. Ultimately, they'll do better in life if they get their education. That would be our short-term goal, would be just to feed as many kids as possible. Long-term goal, feed these kids, start changing the system around, start spreading the word around, and work myself out of a job, because that would mean there's no hungry children.